are doing amazing when it comes to media, right? Everybody sees you in the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. We hear your voice on radio as well. And the question that, is in every young person's mind, because I'm also speaking from a place of a young person 10 years ago who would watch the TV and ask, how do these people do it? How do they enter into this space? So then I come to you, Emefa. How did you get into the space? What was media like for you when you had media at first? And, getting your way in there. Let's walk through it. Let's start from the, unknown.
How many hours do you have?
Anything for you, my darling.
Well, but first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. And I don't get to be questioned very much because usually you'd be here and then the guest will be on the other side. So it's a real pleasure to answer questions and you have such pleasant guests.
Right.
Studio audience, I should say.
Right.
So first I'll say Grace and Vim. It's not something I planned. At least the two things that I was quite certain that when I was growing, I will become. Two things at least. I was certain about being a broadcast journalist.
Right.
And I was quite certain about being a lawyer.
Right.
But how they were going to turn out, I'm not too sure how they were going to turn out because you grew up in a typical Ghanaian home and you go to school from point A, B, all through to the end.
Right.
But life happens to you at some point, and then it throws you what it wants to throw at you. But when you're quite ready for life, then it kind of works quite easily. A lot of people that know me know that it happened to me because I attempted a pageant, quite a popular one in this country.
Right.
It would be Ghana's Most Beautiful.
Which you won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It'll be 12 years ago. I'm a grandmother, I know. Then, right after that, there was one woman who saw that just beyond the crown was a lot more that I could do.
Right.
So they went around asking people, who amongst all the queens did you like to see again years after they have won? And that will be coming to host the reality show, the beauty pageant that you won. Right. And then my name came up.
Right.
This is what I describe as grace, because by this time, I was still going to school. I was reading marketing, Takrady Poly. I just finished doing my top-up degree in GIMPA, just generally getting ready for life, because that's the staple. That's what you know. That's the standard. Go to school, next thing, you do your service, then you get a job.
Right.
And that's a sure way. So that was what I was doing. Then when Grace found me, and then I won the pageant, and I was given the opportunity to now come and host it.
Right.
I would say that it launched my media career.
Right.
I was paired alongside with Gideon Ayukwe, legendary Gideon Ayukwe.
Right.
Nobody cared about the fact that she could do it or not, but they just gave me the chance. And that was great speaking for me. I went through it. I would continue to become judges and selecting the participants and the candidates for the pageant. Right. But I was still going to school.
Look at you.
Who did this to me? Who did this to
12 years ago, so we'll let it go. We'll let it go.
12 good years ago.
Right.
And beyond that crown, are many crowns that you have to pick up yourself. Nobody wears it for you.
Right.
You decide to want to wear many crowns by your own self.
Right.
And for me, that's how my media work started.
Right.
But the biggest of them all will be the one with multimedia.
Right.
Which is Joy Prime, the morning show.
Right.
I was on my way doing Galamsey somewhere, going to Cape Coast at dawn when I received a distress call. And I had to turn around, coming to host a show in the next few hours. And it will be the morning show, Prime Morning on Joy Prime with Jay Foley. And that's how professionally and officially my media career starts.
Beautiful. Now, Sweety, I know very personally. In fact, both of them I have the opportunity to call big sisters. But right now, I'm the one in the hot seat, right? No, you are in my hot seat, actually. So if you know, Sweety is a dreamer, a big one, right? And she doesn't just dream, but she walks the dream. So Sweety, from a dreamer's perspective, right? What was media looking like for young Aborchie? And at what time did you say, okay, this is a place I want to be?
Well, Emefa, your story was inspiring. It's inspiring. I know you, but I didn't know that, the trajectory. I didn't know the story like that. So thank you for sharing.
Right.
Lois, I think that I live here more than I live outside. I can tell you my thoughts when I was 8 years old, but I can't tell you what I wore for my 18th birthday.
Right.
So I know exactly when I thought to myself that I wanted to be a journalist.
Right.
It was somewhere in Lashibi when I was walking with my cousins to go and buy bullfruits. Yes, I said bullfruit.
Right.
And then Selassie asked me, Sweety, what do you want to do when you grow up? I said I wanted to be a generalist. That's how I pronounced it,
Right.
generalist.
Right.
Because my father was a producer director at GBC, so I understood what he was doing, and he, bombarded me with books and documentaries and stuff. So I understood that there was some kind of profession where you get to sit and tell people what's happening around them.
Right.
And I was fascinated by it. But I never really knew how it would launch until I think I also attempted a pageant in,
Still quaint.
University of Education. Whenever.
Right.
I came.
I like how Adeti looks surprised. Like when? Right.
Yeah, I did. And so after the pageant, I think that break, I went round to get somewhere to do an internship. So I went to GTV because that's where my father had worked, and I knew some people in there. So I went there, and fortunately for me, I got into GTV Sports Plus to intern. 2 weeks later, George Lomote, I think he's still there as the channel manager, he says, you are too skilled to be buying wache for people, running around.
Right.
And I'm telling you, in 2 weeks' time, after I started interning, I was reading sports news on GTV. And I had no prior experience. All I knew was beauty pageant, but I knew I could talk. And I knew I had something about the way I spoke.
Right.
So every time you say something, you're like, oh, you speak well. I really didn't understand it. But yeah, so that was the first time I, got onto the screens.
Right.
And this will go on to be a long journey on and off, go back to production, where Emefa and I met.
This one right here was my producer.
You guys are chasing each other at this point.
I know!
Yeah, she was my producer, and Sweety hasn't
Twice, 2 years.
for 2 years.
Right.
Yes. Where are you? I'm on my way. No, but I sent you the call time.
Right.
And I'm nearly there.
I wasn't that strict.
I mean,
She was.
Sweety will be Sweety because you should know her to understand that, right?
But I think you both know the rest of the story. And so it went on from there. Then Star Times, Adepa TV. I think now they've merged with Max TV. I'm not sure if they're still there.
Right.
But so from GTV Sports Plus, I went to Star Times to do House of Emoja. It's a chat room show. It was the biggest money I ever earned in TV because it was contract. And then after that, I was self-reliant, so I had to make money.
Right.
And so I went to do production. But before then, I'd gone around, I'd assisted former Deputy Information Minister as a communications assistant.
Right.
He was at the ministry, so I was there for a while. Left the country for a little bit, came back broke, and then went to Farmhouse because
Right.
I needed to work and make money. So I spent nearly 3 years at Farmhouse as a producer.
Again.
Yeah, and then one day I think I had I'm sorry, can I go on?
Go
I
on.
just remembered exactly when I decided to come back onto the screens.
Right.
Bella Mundi was doing this BU conference.
Right.
I just launched Girl Get Up Africa because we had that conversation,
Right,
Lois.
right.
And so I thought, let me go and get some insight from BU. And then she asked someone should open the show for it. And you know me, I don't know how to sit down when everyone is acting like I'm
cannot do
shy.
it, yes.
Let's go do the thing. So I
Right.
went and I did it. And she was like, you gave me goosebumps. You're so good. Oh my God, you're so good. I'm like, yeah, but I gave up on all that. She was like, no, you can't give up on this. You are so good.
Right.
So I was like, Bella Mundi telling me that I'm so good and I gave up goosebumps. I think the next month she took me to OTAJ, TV3, taking me around just to make sure that I got to TV.
Right.
But that didn't work out. I think a year later, I decided, okay, let me just do what this girl said.
Right.
And then I ended up at DGN, and now I'm here at Joy News,
Right.
and here I'm sitting here with you.
I mean, and they're doing amazing. They're doing amazing. But let's get right into it, more deeper into it, right? Because when it comes to media and how people perceive it and how people look into it, especially when it comes to women, it can be a little dicey, right? Especially for women as young as I am. When you're stepping into media, you're told, oh, you have to be careful because in the next 2 to 3 years, it may go left or it may go right. You have been in it for a while and you have seen firsthand what it can do to a young person, whether it will break you or make you, right? What are some of the misconceptions that you have, seen and you say, oh, this is not really true, especially about women in media?
I'm not sure what they try to assert or what they try to mean, but one thing I'm certain about is that it's the same misconception for everything in the church, at home, corporate, school, everywhere, it's almost the same thing. You either are breaking or someone is breaking you, or you're not breaking at all, or you're climbing. But for media, I like to think that what they really mean is that what it requires, especially for some type of media, TV, right? Because it's audiovisual, it is projected as though you must look a certain type of way.
Right.
The magazine kind of girl.
Right.
And this is why in production there's costuming, there's makeup, there's that.
Right.
So they create, and a large part of it is acting. So they create you. And if you're unable to decipher that, I am working at the creation of something or an idea, and when I finish, I must be what I am or who I am, then this is where it will be a challenge. Because then what you're doing is you're living TV at home and on the screen. And this requires looking a certain type of way, sounding a certain type of way, which you in turn are breaking your own self. And there's nobody breaking you.
Right.
And I like to think that's what they mean. But it can get into your head.
Right.
Because there's a bit of fame element in there, Sweety.
Right.
And help me if I don't find the right words. There's a bit of fame in there, which if you don't get a hold of your own self, if you're not content with your own self, you're going to live the rest of your life entirely on what TV has suggested to you to be.
Right.
You know?
Right.
No, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, and same would be for music as well. If you're a musician, you want to put your art into some audiovisual, there's videography and all of that. When that is done, you are yourself.
But then that makes me ask you, how do you snap out of it then? Because there are two lives, and as she said, it's very easy to get carried away. So at what point do you snap yourself out of it? Because then people are getting to know you. You're walking on the streets, you go for events, they're like, oh, Emefa, Adeti, oh, it's Sweety. So at what point do you snap yourself out of it and say, okay, we are two very different personalities?
Girl, I tell you, I walk around in cornrows and PJs around in my neighborhood. I don't think I see fame yet. I don't think that it would ever get to my head.
Right.
And although Emefa is 100% right with the acting bits, but when I'm sitting on set, this conversation, there is no acting happening right now.
Right.
On the AM show, there's no acting happening, except when you have to smile when you're like pissed off at something, and you know you can't let the people know that you're not happy about a thing.
Right.
But I think I'm grounded because I'm very good at compartmentalizing. So I know where to put what. I know where to put my relationship with Lois in my head, and I know how to relate to. So the person I am to you is different from the person I am probably to Emefa.
Right.
Not because I'm faking it, but because it's energies, you know. So I'm always able to remain grounded in who Sweety Aborchie is.
Right.
And that's on period.
Right.
So nobody can break me, nobody can... But when you talk about misconception, the one that I knew going into media is what I want to share.
Right.
I was told that men would have to sleep with you for you to be successful.
Right.
And I'm yet to meet a man who says I should sleep with him before something can happen for me.
Right.
I like to say this because a lot of young people out there who are really talented and who have the opportunities,
They're
previous
misled.
of us,
Right.
they're scared because they think that some rickety old man is going to ask them to, bed them before they can get the opportunity.
Right.
I don't think that I'm not saying it's not happening, but I'm saying until you are at the point where someone is actually asking you to do it, don't use that as an excuse to not do it.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just limiting yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But then I come back to you guys because, time is spent. What are we looking at, for young people who want to get into the space? What are we telling them, right? Aside the fact that, be aware of this red flag. When you see a man coming at you, go, because you can really do it without a man's help, right? So what's any advice for the young ones looking to venture into this space?
I think, first of all, you must be sure it's what you want to do and what you can't do.
Right.
There's this misconception that you can do everything. You cannot do everything.
Right.
I don't think you can do everything. You must choose what you genuinely know. And I think that you're in tune with the universe and God, and it will tell you, you know what you can do. And I think most of the men or whoever, and let's not get it wrong, women sometimes ask men as well.
Right.
So if you find yourself being asked that kind of favor, then maybe you've not got it.
Right.
Because any serious company or an organization that requires your skill and what you can do would want to give you the job because you've got the skill and the talent.
Right.
And again, we appreciate and recognize that there are exceptions to this general statements that we're making. So if you identify that you can be a great person in the thing that you think is the least of the things, then you are a star. Because you really don't have to sit on TV to be a star.
Right.
You can be a star in whatever that you do. Is it fashion? Is it school? In fact, I have always said that I think now we're overpopulating the beauty pageants. Why? Because then the real idea was really to encourage women to do what we're doing. But now there's the woman engineer, there's the woman doctor, there's the woman shola, there's the woman
against trafficking.
You know, so you can be that star. And so don't wait. You make a decision of what you can do and what life throws at you. Be ready. And there are sure standardized way of being ready. If you have to go to school, go to school. Don't skip it. If you have to acquire a skill, acquire it. Don't skip it. If you skip it, life will skip you. And then now you want the short corner. Because not all of us sitting on TV went to professional journalism school and all of that. So they think that they can cut corner and then they can get a job in the media and all of that. I guarantee if you take 10 women, 5 of them are going into media because they think it is the shortcut to what they wanted to achieve. So I think you can just do what you genuinely know you can do. And not necessarily want to be that TV girl. But if you sure want to be that TV girl and you can be like the Sweety and the Shola, please write that application, go for that audition, pursue the hiring person, the person who is hiring, and show them that you can do it.
Show them that you can do it. Show them that you can do it. And we are still here on Changes. We've been speaking to Sweety and, Emefa Adeti. It's such a good conversation. Keep your comments coming, your messages, 055-157-5757. Now, guys, this is a little different from what we are discussing. Let's get into comedy. Do you like comedy?
Of course.
You do?
Yes.
How often do you go for comedy shows? All right, then that brings me to Sweety. Sweety, do you love
the
comedy?
lessons? Oh, well, yes. Oh, you know I love comedy.
Right.
All the comedians are my friends.
Exactly, and that's why I'm coming to this, because Sweety sitting here did a fantastic feature on OB Amponsah. If you know OB, he's a comedian, a Ghanaian comedian, optometrist, who has decided to add comedy to his, his repertoire of things that he does, and he's doing amazing. Now, he held a show in December. The show made waves. It had numbers. It did so well. And Sweety decided to shine, some light on what he's done. Take a look at this video. When we come, there's still more for you right here on Changes.
Once upon a time, before comedy became a solo spot of quick wit and sharp punchlines, Ghana's comedy stage was dominated by theatrical storytelling and dramatization. The maestro of concert party, Bobokala, could fill the National Theatre with ease, drawing crowds hungry for rib-cracking sketches and slapstick humor.
In Ghana, before I became very, very popular, the most popular comedic style was concert. And it was done in the local language, And concert is actually classified as comedy. If you're defining comedy, concert would be called slapstick comedy. They were doing amazing slapstick comedy, we call it concert in Ghana. Concert party. They were performing slapstick comedy.
His mastery laid the foundation for a rich comedic culture in Ghana, one rooted in vibrant performance and elaborate humor.
Nkomoda and Bobokala, they knew their audience. They knew their audience, so they tailored their performances to suit their audience. And they tried as much as possible to be contemporary. Ghanaian audiences love that. I discovered that myself. The more contemporary you are, and the more you're able to relate the contemporary issues to regular day events, the more popular you get. So I think Nkomoda and Bobokala were in that vein. Even before them, there was Bob Cole. Bob Cole, you were not born. Bob Cole, you were not born, because even I was a little kid. But he was, I think, Ghana's first foremost stand-up comedian, Bob Cole.
But as the curtain fell on one era, a new form of comedic expression was waiting in the wings. From theatre halls to boxing arenas, Ghana's comedy stage evolved.
Bob Cole started this way back. And then as I was growing, you know, the likes of Nkomode, but they were all Latter-day Saints, you know, because the earlier ones were the Kakaku group. It was also a concert party, but we had Kakaku and things like that. That was way back, you know. The departure started when Fritz Bafo and Tommy Annan-Forsen also got into the fray. Fritz Bafo was a stand-up comedian. He had performed so many times in Nigeria, and he was known, you know. Even before the Nigerian comedians became popular, Fritz Bafo was doing stand-up comedy, you know. So he came to Ghana, he was doing stand-up comedy, and he teamed up with Tommy Annan-Forsen, you know, who at one point also did the morning show on Joy FM. So I think it went from the tree concert, local concert thing, and then Fritz emerged with Tommy Annan-Forsen, and they came in the scene for a long time. KMSM came after Fritz and Tommy Annan-Forsen. Now we have the new school. Fantastic guys.
Legends like Bobokala, Nkomode, and Ijako ruled the stage with their theatrical storytelling. Humor was larger than life, performed in troops with dramatic flair. But one man, one microphone, and an eager crowd, that simplicity was elusive, almost unimaginable.
Good evening. Are you cold? Are you okay? You say you guys wanted the government to change the National Theatre air condition. Give that for Akufo-Addo. He has tried. Hey, Akufo-Addo need fans crowd. You don't clap for Akufo.
You see, no matter the times or how many times I watch an OB documentary or an OB stand-up comedy, I will laugh at the jokes over and over and over and over again. And that's how good this man is. Sweety, that brings me to you. Why did you decide to do a feature on OB Amponsah?
Because I watched a documentary called 30 Minutes With, and Trevor Noah was on that documentary. I watched it on YouTube, and I saw how beautifully they told the story of Trevor. And I always tell Oberima that I see him going past Trevor. Trevor was a regular South African comedian guy who decided to go and explore. Really, if you think about it, that's what Oberima is doing. As we speak, he's not in the country. He's out there trying to put Ghana on the map, on the global stage, trying to pursue comedy abroad and optometry, but it's comedy for me. And I thought that this guy is too fantastic for him to just leave this country and nobody's telling his story. Plus, everywhere I go, where they're talking about comedians, stand-up comedians, the stalwarts, those who have gone ahead of him, those who are now coming, they all tell you the same thing, that Oberima is something, that there's just something about him that it just brings it all together. You and I have hung out around comedy clubs so many times. And you see how, he's like the pivot round which everything revolves, you know. So I thought that I know him, I know I know what people say about him, and I think I'm a storyteller. So why not tell a story? And I asked our channel manager, and in fact, it turns out that people actually love him. So they were waiting to hear a story. Where did he grow up? How did he become an optometrist and a comedian? I thought we should get all this, the details out there. And then Stand Up OB happened.
What shocked you while doing this feature?
Ooh, what shocked me was he gave us a breakdown on how he writes jokes. So there's the head, then there's the... I've forgotten all of it. But there's so many processes. You have to write, bounce it off people. When they stand there and they're telling their jokes, it sounds as if it's unscripted. They're only telling you something from their memory. But really, they scripted it. They have a head, they have a punchline, they have a refrain or whatever. And so I was surprised to know that this thing that we call Jimmy, concert, it's a lot. There's a science to it. So KSM told me the same thing. Oberima told me the same thing. I spoke to other people, unfortunately, they didn't make it into the feature, but they all said that, no, it's a science. You can't just stand up and say you're going to tell a joke. You will flop. You and I can pass quick jokes, when we are talking and stuff, Emefa, but even when you're hosting a thing, when you're hosting a program...
Worst part is if you're not intelligent and you try to be intelligently...
Oh, my God.
Some of my friends make you smile and you're asking yourself, why?
What is he doing? What's happening? Like, Lulu?
OB, I find find very smart and very brilliant. And so it's his jokes that I can relate to. And so I understand why Sweety would do such a project.
So the highlights for me was that everybody loves him. I was surprised. I thought I was going to do this thing and they're going to ask me, why are you telling the story of OB because he's your friend? But every single person tells me, oh my God, I love that you told the story. Oh my God, I love OB. So yeah, I guess the intention was achieved.
Yeah. Right, so with all this that we have seen, right, in the next 10 years, do you think that we may dominate? Because people have the perception that Nigerians are dominating all the time. And I think that slowly they are going down, even when it comes to comedy, because we're doing exceptionally well. Gone are the days where we used to bring people in there. We have a lot of Nigerians come and dominate our comedy space. When we go for specials or stand-up comedies, we see them perform half of the show. In fact, more than half of the show, right? So with all this that we've seen, in the next 10 years, do you think that we have a really big future for it? I know you guys are not comedians, but just what you've seen so far.
I think I saw Basket Mouth when he used to ship himself to Ghana.
Right.
You know.
Ship.
You know, like, yeah, because he would be at the night of 1001 Loves, mostly in December.
Right.
Clint the Drunk. I've seen all of this. So I've seen how they have grown and how they're still growing. Last time I went for Basket Mouth's show, if you didn't know, I did. Yes.
At least she went for one. She went for one. Right.
And I have seen, and OB performed there as well.
Right.
And so I appreciate the growth, which if you've been following OB for a while, you see when somebody has planted a seed and they're watering it and it will grow and it will bear fruit. You see it.
Right.
I cannot see why after 10 years, won't be celebrating OB and even the likes of, you know, Lexi and Ojo and all of those people, So,
I agree with you. And I just want to say, no malice intended, I don't think Nigerians are dominating.
Right.
Nigerian comedians know how to market their craft.
Right.
And so that's what we're seeing manifest in all the stages.
Right.
The same way Ghanaian comedians are learning how to market as well. So recently, I mean, on the interview this morning, Oberma was telling us that Ojo and some other people were in Kenya and Tanzania performing. I know he's played in UK, he's played in Spain, some European and American countries, you know, so what we were lacking, or the gap, was how to market the craft. Because Ghanaian comedians are funny.
They are.
In terms of the material and the content, I mean, they have it. It was about how to, you know, strategically put themselves out there. And so because they're learning how to do that now, I don't see any way in a decade we won't be, to use your word, dominate.
Right, and we have been speaking to Sweety Aborchie. I've told you that when you, tune in to Joy News, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., you see her. She said, my name is Sweety Aborchie. She doesn't play with her name at all.
Lois.
And then between 11, when you get to Joy News at 11, you also see a beautiful Adeti on there, also on SMS. Thursdays and Fridays?
Yeah.
Thursdays and Fridays, and they are doing amazing. They're doing so well. We've told you, women in broadcast media, and they're killing it, right? You, a young girl out there, you can do anything you put your mind to. Any final words before you guys go?
Yes, Lois, you are killing it. I'm so sorry. Right. My final word is, Lois, you are killing it.
Thank you, Mama.
That's it. You get what I mean?
Thank you.
So that's it.
To you, Adeti, I will not mind.
That's it.
That's it.
That said, I think that you can really do what you can do, not everything.
Right.
What you genuinely think you can do, and just pursue it. It's okay to fail, try it again, but don't pray for nothing else but grace. And have some vim.
I'm sorry. You asked the question earlier about what are we telling the young girls. It just occurred to me. I didn't get a bite at that. I think it's just simply, if you think that in the moment, journalism, broadcasting is what you want to do it. If at any point you feel like the next thing you want to do is technology and innovation, go do that one too. Don't limit yourself with one dream. You can have 1 billion dreams and you can do anything that you want.
You can do anything that you want. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I've had so much fun. I told you they're like my big sisters, and it just really has been an insightful conversation. Have you guys had fun? Have you learnt a lot? Right, put your hands together for my people. They have been amazing. Right, still on women in business. Oh, see me saying business, in broadcast business, right? They're doing amazing. Our next set of guests are here to still talk about media and how they are infiltrating the space, making sure that women are